Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Runestone, and today we'll be going over the Magic the Gathering top 10 bloom in all the Magic world. And now, at number 10, what we're going to start our list with is Fungal Bloom from Fallen Empires. It's a rare going for $2.09 on the market. It's only valued at that because, well, it's on the reserved list. This is a very cool card. It was very well played back in the day. Basically, it says, for 2 forests, put a spore counter on target fungus. Well, this means absolutely nothing, basically, outside the Fallen Empires, because it doesn't really do anything. This fungus bloom is totally useless. This is why it's at number 10, and it would be at number 100 if I had a choice. So let's straight up move on to number 9. Next we have is ESIX FRACTAL Bloom. It's from Commander's series, that's why I put in the quotations. It's a mythic rare going for a whopping 93 cents on the market. It's really cool because it's a legendary creature. Other than that, it's 6 for this 4/4 flying. For this time, you would create 1 or more tokens during each of your turns. You may instead choose a creature other than ESIX and create as many tokens and copies of that creature. So yeah, it's kind of cool, but doesn't really do that much. That's why it's at number 9. So let's move on to number 8. Which we have is Morbid Bloom from Alera Reborn, and it's an uncommon for 19 cents. I like this card because, well, it's cool because the quotation alone, from the Damned I Make My Garden, from Jorshu of Clen Neltoth. And I like the cards that are associated with Clen Neltoth because it's just, everything about it is kind of cool just for the Magic storyline. But for this 6 mana, it says remove target creature card in a graveyard from the game. Put X 1/1 green saffron creature tokens into play, where X is the removed card's toughness. For 6 mana, it's definitely not that good. It is better than the 2 previous cards, but it's not even an instant. Like, come on. So let's just move on to number 7. Which, of course, we have is Mana Bloom from Return to Ravnica. It's a rare going for 40 cents on the market at the time of this video. Basically, it says Mana Bloom enters the battlefield with X charge counters on it. Remove a charge counter from the Mana Bloom, add 1 mana of any color to your Mana Bloom. Activate this ability only once per turn. At the beginning of your upkeep, if Mana Bloom has no charge counters on it, return it to its owner's hand. So that's a really cool ability because once it runs out, you can just pop it back to your hand and replay it if you choose. But the drawback is, like, if you're spending all this money to put it into play, wouldn't you by that time just cast your own things already? Unless you have like land destruction, I don't see how this card is any good. So let's move on to number 6, which is TANGLEBLOOM from Muradin or 9th. So it would be either a common or uncommon in the 9th, going for only 10 cents on the market for the average price. Well, this card is actually number 6 because it's kind of more annoying than anything else because it costs 1 mana, which is an artifact. You can have many decks with artifacts, and it costs 1 to you gain 1 life. Again, you can make many decks based on gaining life. This is why it's at number 6 for those 2 alone abilities, because it could be 100% annoying on however you want to use this. Not for the actual card, but more for annoyance, I would say. So let's move on to halfway down our list to number 5. And halfway down our list is Summer Bloom from various sets, so it can be rare or uncommon based on the set that you choose. And it's going for, yeah, that's right, $3.78 is the average price for this card. So it costs only 2 mana for this source. It says you may play up to 3 additional lands this turn. It could be a bit of a drawback, so basically you just hope your whole hand is land. Other than that, this card's kind of good and bad at the same time. That's why I went from rare to uncommon, because what are the chances of you doing that? You got to have some kind of, again, land deck. So let's move on to number 4. At number 4, we have Lotus Bloom from various sets. It's a rare going for only $1.87 on the average market. I actually thought this should be at number 1, but the people I talked to said I shouldn't. I think this card should be in every deck all the time. I do not understand, because there's no way you're going to get Black Lotus. So you might as well do this. It's free. It has to spend 3, which costs 0. And then you say sacrifice Lotus Bloom, add 3 mana of any color to your mana pool. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Other than you have a chance of someone destroying an artifact. which not a lot of decks even. So I'm talking about even just blooms. I'm talking about in general. This card I think is absolutely amazing. I think it should be worth a lot more than just $1.87 on the market, but that's the way it is. So let's just move on to number 3. Next we got is CADAVEROUS Bloom from Mirage. It's a rare going for $11.35, and as you can see, it's on the reserve list too. So that's 2 on this top 10 that's on the reserve list. Basically, this bloom costs 5 mana to put it into play, and this enchantment says choose a card in your hand and remove it from the game. Add either 2 swamp or 2 forest to your mana pool. Play this ability, of course, as a mana source. Back in the day, they had weird rules like interrupts, but there you go. So I don't know why this card is so expensive, because it's kind of cool, but maybe just anything that costs a lot of mana. Wouldn't you rather play it at the point when you have 5 mana already in play, unless you want like that dinosaur that costs 12 mana to play? So again, I do like this card though because of that ability alone. So let's just move on to number 2, which we have is Bloom Tender. That's right, from Eventide or various, which I would say like Secret Lair Drop or Mystery Booster. The list is kind of that kind of thing, but nothing reprinted. So it's a rare going for, that's right, $32.87 on the current market. Now, why is this at number 2? It's hard to believe, right? So it costs 2 mana for this 1/1, but it says for each color among permanents you control, add 1 mana of that color to your mana pool. That was really, really cool, and the artist is Chippy, so that even adds more to the, I personally think, more value to the card, because Chippy is one of my favorite artists in the Magic world. This card is just absolutely incredible, but can you believe it? It's only at number 2. So let's move on to number 1, which we have is the incredible Vernal Bloom card. It's from various sets. It's a rare. I like the Urza Sega series, so that's why I put that one up. Going for only $7.46 currently at the market. Basically, this 4 mana enchantment costs, well, whenever a forest is tapped for a mana, it produces an additional forest. Think about that. You got 4 already in play to play this spell in general, and you can add more, so you can just keep adding mana. Oh my god. Can you imagine having 4 of those? What would you do with all that mana? So many options, so many choices. This is why this is my favorite Bloom card. In fact, this card is actually incredible in general, just like the Bloom Tender, but this is what I personally think this is number 1. So I hope you enjoyed the top 10 Bloom, and I hope you guys have a good day and a good evening.